Hello, and welcome to day 40 of this Unity Game Development Journal. So, 40 days in, that seems like an awfully big number, but it's only been a month, and games usually take quite a long time to develop, so still got a long ways to go. But anyways, just show you some of the stuff I've been working on. Working on sort of the second enemy character, so I already have a bee started. It's not done yet, but I have that bee going. This is the basic animation for the second character, the boar. So this one's going to be in the elf world, and the bee is going to be more in the human world. And then we'll have some other enemies as well in the overworld. But essentially, this is started, and all the animations are here. I will probably end up tweaking this, modifying it. I've already modified the size a little bit, but I'll modify the color and all that kind of stuff eventually. Another thing I started working on is redoing the overworld tile set. So this is going to take a while. Essentially, I'm concentrating right now on the wall. I've extended the wall to be 3 tiles high, whereas before, where are we here? In here, the wall was only 2 tiles high here. So this wasn't really working the way I wanted it to. What I end up being able to do with the 3 tiles high is I can make the wall as high as I want it by just repeating the zero or the middle tile. So this one right here repeats, so I can stack it and send it side to side or on top of each other as high as I want, and the pattern just keeps going. So that allows me to make walls much higher without having this weird transition at the different levels. So this is the type of thing that I'm going to be redoing to make sure everything's just a little cleaner. Also, I'm going to have the tiles so that I don't have that edging problem I'm having right now, where you can actually see the edge of the tile because it's not slicing properly. I'm actually going to leave a border around. It's probably going to be bigger than this border. It's probably going to be more like that. Actually, no, just 2 and 2. So we'll probably have a border like this around each one, so that I can, when I select it, it'll just work out much better. So let's see here. That's about all I did there. The other thing I worked on besides the graphics was the transition. So one of the issues I was having, or that I hadn't solved yet, is when I load in a scene chunk, so just a portion of the map. The very first one, it sort of had that green background, then the scene just popped in, right? Because it took a while to load, like about half a second. So you don't really want that. So what you want to do is fade in. So you want to have it black, and then once that scene loads in, then you fade into it. And that's just the clean way of doing it, and that's how all games typically handle it. And then between scenes, I only shift the camera when I load in, so I don't need to fade in there. That's sort of handled perfectly fine there. So let's just take a look at what I'm talking about here. So in the game here, we'll just click New Game, and it's black, and then it fades in once that scene's loaded, so I don't have that popping in any longer. So this is fine, and then when we do a scene transition here, it doesn't fade at all. It just transition. It does the transition for us. So that works out perfectly. So a couple things, like a lot of the things are just graphics that need to be cleaned up. Mainly when I resized the player, the actual animations got a little bit jumpy. So those are all things I'm going to have to adjust and figure out how to make a lot smoother. But I got a lot of time for that. I'll work on that as I go here. But anyways, I got the map, so it can go anywhere on the map. It transitions perfectly. I have the fade in. I'm probably going to want to redo the menu screen soon. But essentially that's it. So I have the code here. This is sort of a boring bit of code. It's the fading manager I created. I just attached this to the world controller. And then when the world is done loading here, it says if fading in, which only occurs on the first one. As soon as, if that is true, then I come into here and I set it to false because I only want to do it once. And then I just call the fading manager and hit the fade function on that. And all that does is it just sets up to say, is the scene currently being shown or isn't it? And that's through a variable called isShowing. It's a boolean. And all that does is say if the scene is currently showing, then fade out. If it isn't, then fade in, type of thing. So I'm saying it's not, so I'm going to fade in. And then all this does is it also sets is in transition to true, meaning it is going to do the fading, because this chunk of code only happens if is transition is true. If it's not true, then it just returns on the update function. It doesn't do anything. So fading in is really, really simple. I just create a fade step, and that's either going to be a negative or a positive value based on time delta time, and that's just the amount from between 0 and 1 that we've actually faded. So 0 is nothing, 1 is everything, right? So then I just take the fading image color, which is just an image I have as a parameter here. And then I just lerp the color and only change the alpha. So I have a solid black here with an alpha of 1, and I'm lerping it to a solid black with an alpha of 0. So that's how that works. And then it just says the lerp is just gauged off of this fade step. So every time it updates, it just increases based on delta time, and that's how far between 0 and 1 I am transitioning for the alpha. And that's it. And then I have my clamp here saying fade step if it's greater than 1 or less than 0. That means I'm outside of the bounds and I'm done fading for the alpha, because alpha can only be 0, 1, right? Then I just set is in transition to false. Now this will not, this will just return all the time now and won't do anything. So that's essentially how that works. It's fairly simple. Attach that to the world. I actually built it 3 or 4 times, 3 different ways, and I didn't like the other way, so I ended up sticking with this basic one, which I really like. So that is day 40. That's everything I did. Some graphic stuff, some fade-in stuff, and took a look at examining some other things I could be doing in the future. So thanks a lot for tuning in. Subscribe if you want to follow along with the videos, and thank you very much. See you next time.